intro music and sound effect means one thing only.
It means the Battery Podcast is back.
In full effect. Every time we say it, I just get these chills.
Yeah.
I really feel good about our intro. I really love it.
I do, too. It took a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And thought. It did take a lot of thought.
Yeah. I think we stumbled upon it originally.
Not the sound effect.
Not the sound effect, but the intro. We kind of stumbled upon it, and I just kept saying it.
Yeah.
And so now.
Oh, you mean that, like what we actually say?
Yeah.
Well, the intro as a whole is pretty. Yeah.
It'll get better too. Like every time I listen to, like I usually catch like Dukes and Bell right as they're starting now.
Yeah.
And they've got like this long, like 2-minute intro with like clips of shit from movies and stuff. I want to do that.
85 South podcast with like DC Young Fly, Carlos Miller. They do the same thing. Yeah, or what they do is like their intro is like clips of what goes on in that show.
See, like I've thought about that, but that takes so much editing.
Yeah.
And I am not about to sit here and edit for 12 hours.
Hey, and I'm not either. So
for a show that we're going to get out to you guys as quick as we can because we want you to listen.
But what we could do, I'm thinking, we should probably have this conversation off air. But it's okay.
It's all right.
If we take like funny clips from each show and like when we think, dude, that's intro worthy.
Like shit that makes us laugh out loud.
Yes.
We should keep that, put it into an intro, and then play that. That's a good idea. That's definitely a good idea. I like that. I'll have to go back and listen to some. You do the same, and
of course. And
we'll point them out.
We'll see what we like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now, the Cardi B thing when Dante was here is gonna be. It's gotta be. I
don't remember what that one was.
Russell Westbrook for MVP.
Was that the first Russell Westbrook?
It was one of them.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go back through them, and we'll figure it out. Yes. Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. We're back for another show. This one just over a week after we did the last one, so there's nothing to be upset about.
Right.
I mean,
hopefully
we put out two really quickly, and then
I think that's where we kind of messed up.
Yeah, it took a little bit of a break, so that's all right. Lots to talk about. Star-studded show. I'm kidding. It's just me and Ricky.
That's it. Nobody's here with us today.
No, not today.
Unfortunately.
We didn't get Dante on last time he was up here.
We didn't. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was kind of upset. Like when that was one of the things I was thinking about. Like when you Snapchatted me when you were hanging out with him, I was like, "Well, we were supposed to record with him, Ricky. Thanks a lot, you dick." But anyways, we'll move past that. The World Series is over.
It is.
Great series overall. Best World Series I've ever seen.
Scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate it?
10. That was a hell of a series. 10. It gave me everything I wanted out of a baseball game. One thing I noticed a lot was there were a lot of your non-typical baseball fans on Twitter talking about it.
I noticed that a lot more last year, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, okay. And I think I saw it a lot more last year because of the drought that the Cubs have been going through. So,
maybe some of those fans, maybe some of those people that got back into this year are, becoming baseball fans.
Possibly.
That'd
and
I also
think seeing 8 home runs in one game.
Yeah, that's got something to do with it.
Yeah.
People, not just chicks, but people dig the long ball.
Everybody digs the long ball. I personally, though, if I'm being honest, I'd take a 3-1, 3-2 score.
Oh yeah, I want a hard fought game too.
Yeah, I would love a pitcher's duel.
We're
whatever gets
baseball
people
fans.
Yeah, whatever gets people interested. So,
we've also had a crazy trade deadline in the NFL this week.
Heard bits and pieces about it.
It was like the weirdest thing ever to me because I've never seen those kind of names not in football.
Around. Not in football. I think I talked to my dad about it a few years back. I was like, you never really see any big trades.
No, you don't see a first-round wide receiver being traded mid-season.
You don't see a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Niners. I mean, like, granted,
the trade makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, but it makes more sense for the Patriots.
Jay Ajayi from the Dolphins traded. Yeah. Like those kind of trades just don't happen in the NFL mid-season.
Right.
Whether that's due to having to learn a different system or whatever. You just don't see moves like that.
It's real taboo, I feel like.
So we'll get into that a little bit. At the same time, Ricky told me I can't call this the Giannis fan show, but I'm still on that train. So choo choo.
What'd you say?
I'm riding Giannis hard. He's been great all season.
He has been. I'm not ready to call him the MVP yet, though. Well, as far as the first month of the season, yeah, he's got the MVP like locked up. But is he gonna do it the whole season? I'm not saying he can't, but I mean we'll just sit and wait. Dude's like what, 22?
Yeah.
It's like he's got a lot more time to get better.
I made a Super Bowl statement like a week ago. I will bring that to the show just so I can be ridiculed and talked about some more.
Oh, I would love
in our friend group.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we get into the NBA section, just remind me, and I will share my hot take with you and our listeners. I'm very excited to share it.
Do you think I'm gonna ridicule you here?
Yes, I do.
As long as it's not.
This is the hottest of hot takes.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
I don't think you do.
I think I do.
I don't think you do.
If it's as hot as you're making it seem, I think I know exactly what you're gonna say.
All right. Well, stay tuned.
And it's ridiculous.
Stay tuned, guys.
I'll tell you that.
We've never talked about this hot take off the air. I can assure you that we have never talked about it ever. So, stay tuned. We will get into it. I'm quite excited for that. But let's go ahead and start with my least favorite topic for today. The University of Georgia is sitting at number 1 in the college football playoff rankings after an 8-0 start to their season.
Right.
Some signature wins over schools like Notre Dame. And that's about it.
Okay. I want to hear what you have to say first.
I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've seen one signature win this year.
Yeah.
Yes, they have beaten the dog piss out of everybody they've played, except for their one signature win against Notre Dame. But, beating up on the teams you're supposed to beat up on does not make a number 1 team.
Right.
So, beating Vandy by double digits and shutting them out, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Beating Tennessee, shutting them out, that's what you're supposed to do because Tennessee is ungodly awful. Butch Jones still has a job.
How? And Jim McElwain's out.
Jim McElwain, the shark humper, is out at Florida. And Butch Jones, he's going to coach this weekend.
I think I saw something. On Twitter, and I feel like the only reason I saw it was maybe Ben retweeted it or something. Mm-hmm. But it was like Coach A, SEC East.
Oh, I retweeted that.
I
retweeted it because I thought it was a great
Coach
point.
B, no SEC East titles, whatever it was. It was like Coach A just got fired from Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit blew my mind. Like,
that was hilarious.
Like, if we really think about it, Butch Jones has done absolutely nothing other than sign a mega deal.
Right.
That's the only reason he's still got a job, if we're being honest. The guy,
for sure.
Even last year, when the division was his to win,
pissed the bed.
Shit the bed.
Yeah.
Just absolutely couldn't do it.
It's embarrassing. But real quick, I want to talk about the rankings. Is Notre Dame really a signature win?
I think they have to be.
Why so though?
They're in the top 10 now, and
they're number 3 in the rankings.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame,
Ohio State?
Clemson,
Oh.
Ohio State, and Oklahoma are 5 and 6.
Okay,
but who has Notre Dame beat though?
Because USC was highly touted, and they beat them because they only lost to Georgia by so little. I think that makes them look good.
But I'm not.
I don't
not
agree
sold
with
on
it.
it.
Clearly,
I'm not sold on it being a signature win.
If it was me, it would be Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma.
Right.
That's my top 4.
Right.
But I hate Georgia. So
I think that Bama's actually getting penalized for the fact that Florida State's quarterback was hurt.
They hurt Florida State's quarterback.
I know, but I'm saying like. That happened in the first game of the season. Yeah. So this rest of the season, they're not seeing the same Florida State. They're not seeing the same Florida State that was ranked 3rd in the nation.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like Bama beat the 3rd-ranked team in the nation in week 1, fresh out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to look at that.
It was supposed to be a tightly contested game.
Well, it was supposed to be a tight game. Mm-hmm. Ended up being a blowout where Florida State could not even score.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so people love to say that Bama doesn't have a signature win and go and point at what Georgia's done. Georgia beat up on a Florida who just fired their coach.
Yep.
They beat up on Tennessee.
As a matter of fact, that's the reason their coach got let go.
They beat up on Tennessee. Didn't even beat them as badly as Bama did.
Nope.
Beat up on Vandy.
Didn't beat them as
badly as Vandy did. I mean, Bama did.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just sitting here wondering, and they beat a Notre Dame team who I'm not particularly sure how good they actually are. Because I can't wait till Notre Dame plays Miami next weekend, and then I can find out if Miami's for real or if Notre Dame might be for real. Because
both
I'm not
sure.
Might
be for real depending on the final score.
Exactly, and I'm not sure if Miami is for real because of how they win games.
Yeah, I don't think Miami's for real because, let's be real, they shouldn't have won that Tech game.
No.
This is coming from a Tech fan. If Paul Johnson doesn't just, let Ted Roof tell the defense to sit back, they don't throw, 12 screen passes and work their way into field goal position. That was one of the dumbest endings to a football game I've ever seen.
Right. So looking at the schedules and the strength of schedule, instead of looking at, and the thing that's blowing my mind is there's actually a committee doing this. This isn't a computer like what it used to be.
This is humans.
This is humans that are watching the games, supposedly
analyzing these games.
Supposedly,
yeah.
And telling you who the best 4 teams they think are in the nation right now. And I think they also penalized Bama because Bama had that bye week when Georgia went and beat up on a
That's not Bama's fault, though.
Florida. It's not Bama's fault. And I'm fine with them being number 2 because if anything, I would love to see Georgia in that SEC championship and end that season. But even more than that, I would love for Georgia Tech to end Georgia's season.
Oh, God.
Because if they lose to Georgia Tech, everything's done.
It's over.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got to play Auburn, Auburn's not a slouch this year.
Auburn could be tough.
I know we talked about the fact that Florida, Georgia Tech, and Auburn are all rivalry games, but Florida, we thought they'd get up for that game. They did.
They absolutely did.
Whatever. But Auburn is actually ranked? I think I saw them at 14th in the college
they got 2 losses now.
Playoff rankings. So Auburn's going to be tough, and I really think Tech is going to get up for that.
Let me tell you, I think that Kentucky sitting with 1 loss right now might be tough for Georgia.
Wow. I think they're going to be tough for Georgia just because I don't believe in Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Like I just don't get it.
You're not impressive on the offensive side of the ball.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I think they've gotten a freshman QB and he's coming in and he's doing what he's doing, but it's just not. I'm not mind blown when I watch them play.
Not at all.
So that's all I got to say about that. And
I'll tell you what they got. Let's see 3 weeks before that clean old fashioned hate game.
Yeah, and
dude,
Georgia Tech's gonna come.
Yeah,
like it's not gonna be.
They do every year.
It's not gonna be what just happened down in Jacksonville. Georgia Tech is gonna come ready to play. Is that game? Oh, sorry. Is that game at Bobby Dodd or down?
It's in Atlanta this year.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm telling you. And if Georgia loses that game, if they are undefeated going into that game and they lose that game, I don't care if they beat Alabama in the SEC championship. I don't see them making it back to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. No,
I just don't.
You can't lose to an unranked, mediocre squad and still end up in the college football playoff.
I just don't see
It's not fair.
Even if they
I thought the same thing about Ohio State last year.
I thought Penn State should have been in it.
Penn State should have been in it. They were your Big Ten champions.
They lost to Penn State beat Ohio State last year. So also Penn State just absolutely pissed that game away Saturday.
Yeah, that's on them.
Oh my goodness. An 18-point lead and they just gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
Gave it away, man. They could have put the nail in Ohio State's coffin for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And they just gave
I
it
see
away.
a lot of people that still, hate that university.
Penn State?
Yeah.
I don't.
I still see a lot of hate.
Yeah,
like there were so many people, oh, that's what you get, you bunch of child molesters. I get it. 2 people, well, probably, more than 2, but quite a few people messed up.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
The NCAA did not penalize them, well, I think they did levy some sanctions.
They put sanctions on him, but they didn't give him the death penalty.
There's no death penalty. It's time to... There's an entirely different coaching staff.
It wasn't even... The only... Jerry Sandusky was not even on the staff at the time when all this stuff came out. Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to humanize anything.
Jerry Sandusky, he was wrong.
It was awful, but that has nothing to do with the players. Mm-hmm. Even it didn't have anything to do. It did, but not directly anything to do with Joe Pa at the time.
Stuff's so good.
You know, so I think people kind of need to let that go, man, and let these kids that are there now, let this coaching staff that's there now,
don't punish
let
these
them
guys,
have
man.
fun and let them play the game that they love to play.
Yeah, it's not fair, but yeah. So Georgia, you got your schedule doesn't get any easier.
No, the easy part's out the way.
Personally, I don't think they've got it in them. I'd love to see them lose 2 in a row.
I just don't see them with it.
My one goal for Tech every year is to beat Georgia.
Beat Georgia.
Without a doubt. I know that's
I
pathetic.
don't care if they go 1-11. I just want them to beat Georgia.
I would be okay with Tech losing to Georgia if Georgia lost the next 2.
To Kentucky and Auburn?
Yeah. If they lose those 2...
I mean, they're done.
Yeah. Go ahead. Beat up on us.
If they lose to a Kentucky, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only team that I think that they could lose to and still make it into the playoff would be Alabama in that national championship.
They'd have to play
in the SEC championship, and they would have to play them very tight.
It would have to be
a very close game, similar
inside of 3-4 points,
similar to the 9-6 game Alabama and LSU had back a few years ago, and both of them ended up being in the national championship. That game is going to have to be close. If Georgia loses, I'll stay partial here or impartial, but if Georgia loses, it has to stay close for them to have a chance to stay in the playoff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I think that's right. Let's move on to big boy football. Without talking about college football for an hour. Like we said in the open, the trade deadline was week 9. I think that was Wednesday at 4:00 or something like that.
It was something like that.
Where the Browns messed up a trade for AJ
Did you hear
McCarron.
about that?
I actually heard that the Bengals messed up.
No, it was the Browns.
Was it the Browns?
It was the Browns. Did you hear what happened?
No.
Okay. The Bengals sent the Browns this trade for AJ McCarron. And with like 5 minutes left till the deadline. The Browns wanted to accept it. Mm-hmm. They were too busy celebrating about the trade and waited till after the deadline to complete it.
How stupid do you have to be?
And they tried to get permission from the NFL to grant the trade.
Yeah, there's no
done.
grace period.
It was done.
Yeah.
You know, like it was. All they had to do was like email a guy back or something. It was something simple.
Jesus Christ.
But they were celebrating and forgot to complete the trade.
Wow, that's pathetic. That's a real Brownsy type.
How Browns of a Browns thing to do? Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man, how do you freak up that bad? Oh my God. Jesus, man, like. Is one like the MLB? They've got a little grace period where if trades are coming in right at 4:00,
some things happen at like 4:15.
You may not hear about it till 6:30.
Yeah,
because that's when it's been finalized and approved. Plus, let's be real, the MLB trade deadline is one of the craziest days of the year. And
absolutely bonkers.
There's people moving from all 30
I think the
teams.
MLB trade deadline is
it's so much fun.
Chaotic
I
trade
look forward
deadline
to it every
all
year.
the sports.
I wake up on the 31st like, all right, Twitter.
It's awesome. Yeah, what we got. It's awesome, man.
It's the best deadline in sports.
Still haven't seen David Price traded to the Braves yet.
Nope.
I would love to see
it. We didn't even get Chris Archer traded to the Braves this year.
That would awesome
be. The NFL kind of amped up the excitement this year. Like I said, you had Kelvin Benjamin going from the Panthers to the Bills.
Cam wasn't too excited about that.
No, he wasn't. I think it was for... What did they get for him? I think they got 2 picks for him.
Second and a third, I think.
Yeah. Jay Ajayi went from the Dolphins to...
4th round.
Where'd he go?
I couldn't tell you. I forgot.
Carson Wentz and the Eagles which I think gives them some real credibility in the NFC.
I don't think they needed him to do it, though. Apparently, Carson Wentz is
apparently for real.
He's found out what he's actually supposed to be doing, and he's doing it.
But it never helps or it never hurts to have more targets.
It doesn't. You're
more
right.
weapons.
You're definitely right.
Then you had what else? What was the other one?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo went from New England to San Francisco for a second-round pick.
I forgot the pick,
but it was a second.
I'm not too sure how I feel about this trade.
It's
only
weird.
Because, like, you know who Jimmy Garoppolo is.
Yeah, 2-0 in his 2 starts in the NFL.
In his 2 starts for the Patriots, looked like great in the system.
Complete percentage.
Looked great in the system, but it was 2 starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now you're trading to have this guy as your man. I
the
think
Patriots have 1 quarterback on their depth chart right now.
They don't need another.
I feel you, but that's a little cocky. It's not like they're sitting at 8-0 right now.
No, they're not. But
they're not perfect. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And to have 1 quarterback on your roster, I'm sure. Weird. Well, they did just get Brian Hoyer. They signed him.
Okay, so there it
not
is.
Bad.
So they knew they probably knew they had something in the works.
I guess, but Brian Hoyer,
who cares? They had a Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. For Christ's sake,
let's not mention Jacoby Brissett's name.
Exactly,
he messed up.
He was a backup though.
Yeah,
I'm taking Brian Hoyer over Jacoby Brissett. I can tell you that right now.
That's 3rd on the depth chart. I'm okay with that too. I'm not worried about my 3rd string quarterback.
You will be when the second string gets hurt.
When's the last time you saw a 3rd string quarterback in the game?
Last year when Jacoby Brissett got in.
That don't count. He was suspended.
It definitely counts.
That don't count.
It definitely counts. You asked me a question.
Okay, so you had to go back a year and a half.
It's the last season.
Whatever.
It's the same
you had
thing.
to go back a year and a half because it was in the 3rd week of the season. Because they had a bye week in the 4th. And then Tom Brady came back.
He was suspended for 4 games, I thought. Why did he not? Because I'm trying to think about that. Jimmy Garoppolo played in 2.
Jacoby Brissett got 1, lost it. Then they had a bye week. Or they had a bye week in the first 4.
How did they get around him being suspended for 4 games?
Just like that. He was only suspended for 4 weeks, technically.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the bye week counts as one of your
suspension weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but...
That's crazy.
Anyways, let's talk about some devastating stuff in the NFL. Deshaun Watson
tore his ACL today.
In practice today, which is a damn shame.
It's sad, man, because dude was really out here just.
He was
playing a video game.
They were averaging like 35 points a game. 34.6 is what I saw earlier.
He was playing a video game.
Yeah.
It was
even though they just lost to Seattle, he kept them in the game.
He kept them in the game, and it took heroics essentially from Russell Wilson to win that game.
The way that me and you both praised Dak last year, a lot of the things we praised Dak for are a lot of the same things Deshaun Watson does.
Praise, yeah.
He extends plays. He's able to throw on the run. He's shown an ability to read defenses.
Right.
He can move. He can get out of the pocket and score.
He's smart. He's not quick to make a mistake.
No.
You know, he thinks things out, and that's what you want from your quarterback.
This guy is
the fact
real
that he's
deal.
A rookie, and he's thinking like this, and this is how he's playing. It's really sad to see him go down with this kind of injury. It really is. And Houston can never just be healthy for a year.
And if they were, man, J.J. Watt healthy, imagine that. And then Deshaun Watson.
J.J. Watt's going to be a Hall of Famer,
and he's going to have missed.
And
half
has he
of his career
ever
games.
played a season? 16 games.
I don't think he's ever played 16 games. I think the most might have been like 14. I actually want to see, so we're gonna look this up. J.J. Watt.
I mean, but that's crazy, right?
It is. The fact that he has won Defensive Player of the Year and probably hasn't played a full season ever is.
I mean, J.J. Watt is always getting.
He's got 88 games, so I can tell you right now he's missed a bunch of them.
I mean, has he ever played?
Oh shit, we both lied. Because his first 5 seasons.
Oh, he played all 16.
He's just been injury prone since.
Yeah.
Holy hell. That makes sense. It just feels like he's always hurt.
Feels like he's always hurt for sure.
It was just the last 2 where he was actually hurt. and missed significant chunks of time.
Okay. Well, never mind. I take back what I said. Yeah. Other than him being a Hall of Famer, that's definitely
definite.
Yeah,
but he's got 15 forced fumbles. Holy shit!
But still, think about the fact that he's out. Deshaun Watson's out. So arguably, your best defensive and offensive player are both done for the season.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson had just made Nuke look so good.
Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins.
He's starting to get back on a roll.
It is a real shame not to have a guy like that due to injury.
It's sad, man. And I mean, I guess you just hope that he has a good recovery, you know, and he comes back next year and he's right at it.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can, get it.
I found out he actually played with a torn ACL his freshman year in college.
Really?
Mm-hmm. With a knee brace on. And they beat South Carolina that year. Like 38-17. He had 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
2 on the ground, 2 through the air. Yeah.
Dude's got
Deshaun Watson is the real deal. I'm
a
big fan. You even said it before we started recording. Like, I know he's the reason that, Alabama didn't. Yeah,
single-handedly the reason.
That Alabama didn't win the national championship last year. But
it's kind of hard not to like that kind of guy.
And think about how many teams passed on this guy.
The Browns.
The Browns passed on him a couple times.
The Browns also passed on Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
How are the Browns still an organization?
They had like 4 picks in the first round last year.
It was crazy.
I'm going to go look at it right now because I want to say they had the number 1 overall pick. They took Myles Garrett. They drafted Deshaun Kaiser. Deshaun Kaiser went before Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Like, that doesn't make any freaking sense.
It never did to me.
I remember because we went to we were at East Cobb the night of the NFL draft.
Were we?
Yes, I went with you to watch a game, or you were coaching. I was there to watch a game, and we were leaving the game. We were leaving the complex as the draft was going on, and I kept looking for Deshaun Watson. Kept looking. Nope. Like, why is he still there at the 20th? I think he wasn't drafted like 22nd or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, number 1. Number 25, Jabril Peppers.
Really? Well, Deshaun Watson was probably off the board by then, though.
Yeah, I think so. But why Deshaun Watson wasn't taken before Mitch Trubisky, don't know. They took David Njoku from Miami, a tight end, at 29. So that's 3 picks in the first round. I will need to go see Deshaun Kaiser, number 2.
They definitely didn't take him before.
Yeah, they had way too many picks early on, though. 3 in the first round.
You got to do something better than a safety, a defensive end, and a tight end. The tight end one is the one that's killing me.
Yeah.
Like really? You're drafting a tight end in the
you
first round?
You got to worry about other positions
in the
before.
First round?
Yeah, you need to worry about other positions, number 1.
Come on, that does not make sense.
I don't know what that is really embarrassing. Oh my god,
that's upsetting. But yeah, man, I felt bad for the kid. Dude has a great future ahead of him though. So I just try to. I hope he just tries to stay positive.
One of Georgia's own, out of Gainesville. Still shocked that he didn't end up
in Athens.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
I mean, that's an hour away, not even.
Yeah, I'm shocked he didn't.
It's mind blowing. Yeah, Deshaun was picked 12th, so.
Yeah, so everything.
Deshaun Kaiser, I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. It is sad to see him go. We haven't talked about the World Series yet.
No, I thought you were saving that for last.
Okay, I will save that for last.
I just figured you were saving it for last.
In that case, we will move to basketball.
Okay.
And my Giannis Antetokounmpo hot take.
Can I guess what it is before you say it?
Yes, I will let you guess before I reveal it.
I just need one guess.
Okay.
He's the best player in the league.
You're thinking too small scale.
Too small scale?
Too small scale.
Really?
Here's my hot take. If Giannis Antetokounmpo never struggles with injury, he will be the greatest basketball player we have ever seen. If he never suffers from a detrimental injury, he will end up being the best player we have ever seen.
I don't think that's too hot of a take. Because like we said earlier in the opening, dude's 22 and he's this right now.
Yes, he's a freak of nature.
You know, so it's only logical to assume that he's going to get better as he gets older.
Absolutely, he's going to learn the game.
At the very least, he peaks at. I don't think we've ever needed the prime years for a basketball player, but I'm thinking it's 28 to 32 or something like that. So let's say he gets to 28. He's been in the league for 8 years at that point. I mean, come on, man. I can definitely see that.
Okay.
I can see that.
All right, so maybe I won't get ridiculed.
No, I doubt you'll get ridiculed.
I firmly believe
but you have to phrase it just like that, barring any detrimental injury.
Yes. I don't think right now he's the best player in the NBA.
Right.
I love him dearly, and I think he's the best player on the floor most nights.
Right.
Except for nights when you play against Golden State or nights when you play against Cleveland.
Right.
But I do think in 20 years, when I'm talking to my kids about basketball, I'm going to laugh at them when they mention whoever. Right. I'm going to be like, y'all ain't ever seen Giannis play. I can't wait for those days because my dad used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, he ain't Larry Bird. He ain't Dominique. Yes, because Michael Jordan was better than both of them. Chill out, Daddy.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, but I honestly think that when I get to laugh at my kids in their faces, I will be right in saying
you will have made it. Yeah. And no, that's not that hot of a take.
Right.
Dudes, LeBron is arguably the best player to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I have no problem saying that. Not a big LeBron fan, but I respect the dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think Giannis is past where he was at 22 years old.
I think that's fair to say.
I think he's past where he was.
It's only logical. Like you said, he's going to learn the game better. He's going to add bulk eventually, the same way LeBron did. He's going to become an unstoppable force.
And it's going to be scary.
We've seen the guy cover 56 feet in 2 dribbles.
We thought LeBron at 6'8", 270 running was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Giannis
Giannis takes 4 steps and he's already at the other side of the court.
Free throw line.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's one of the few guys that can take off at the free throw line and dunk with no problem.
Damn near did it in a game.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, he's super long, and that's my favorite thing about him is the length.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I can tell you right now that arms like that and a body like that is hard to stop.
Right.
You know, it's one of the things that make Dirk's shot really hard to guard. He's got long arms, and he's coming from behind his head.
From the top of his head.
Yeah. It's really hard to guard that. And like I said, if Giannis adds bulk, it's over.
Who knows? I don't think that was as hot a take as you thought it might be. So I think
I'm real passionate about Giannis, though. I
know.
I'm gonna buy me a Bucks jersey.
Are you?
I'm gonna go get me a Bucks jersey.
I don't think you will.
I'm gonna get a black Bucks jersey because they do have a black jersey, and you know I love black jerseys.
I don't think you will though.
Okay. All right. When I show up in the Giannis jersey.
With your tattoos?
Yeah, with my ATT center.
Yeah.
Tattoo across my collarbone. Okay. You know how girls get like, only God can judge me or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go get AT&T center. Not a Spurs fan or anything.
Chest tats on girls is...
You like it?
No.
Okay, good. I know you love girls with tattoos.
I love girls with tattoos.
We can have a whole show about that.
We could.
But we're not going to. But I'm glad you said you didn't like chest tattoos.
I hate it.
I'm not a either. Like if you got your arms done, cool.
Arms.
I like
arms,
the lower
legs.
Yeah.
I'm fine with back even.
Just don't get your front tattooed.
I'm cool with like below tits.
Okay.
Actually.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Because if it's art, if it's just writing, then no.
Like those girls that have like little boobies and they get tattoos under them.
Rihanna's the only one that's been able to really pull that off.
Yeah. But you know, everybody wants to copy what Rihanna
Everybody
does.
wants to copy Riri.
I don't blame them. She's bad.
I don't blame them either.
But yes, I'm not a huge fan of the girls with the chest tattoos.
No, it's not a good look.
Mm-hmm. Or like the big thigh pieces, because usually they're not. They usually don't go with everything else.
Yeah.
It's like they'll just get a giraffe on their thigh.
I like the thigh pieces only because
or they'll get a sailboat.
Yeah.
I'm like, for what?
I like the thigh pieces only because usually the people that get them, the girls that get them, they got pretty nice thighs.
Mm-hmm.
So You know,
I have
I'm seeing that tattoo.
I have a couple X's with thigh pieces.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think one of the K's has one.
One of the K's.
Yeah. I actually want to say it's a giraffe.
I hope it's not.
I think she's got one, dude, for real.
I hope it's not.
Oh well. We've already reached the 35-minute mark, and the last 3 minutes was incoherent babbling. So let's go ahead and get to the Fall Classic.
Whoop whoop.
Seen some crazy things said on Twitter lately.
Right.
Most of them are wrong, because this was the greatest World Series I've seen since I started watching baseball seriously.
It's up there. It might be the greatest I've ever seen, too. I still had to make it a close race, though, between this and the Royals and the Giants.
Royals-Giants was a good one. I would put that in like a top 3, top 5.
Yeah.
Also, the... what was it?
Also, the 95 World Series I think it's the best World Series I've ever seen.
Shit only went 6 games, man. Get that out of here.
Hey, man. But who won it?
Oh, you're right. I've got the newspaper over there.
The best World Series I've ever seen. Don't remember a lick of it.
Only watched it after the fact.
I can promise you I saw it.
Yeah.
My dad.
But I've got the NLCS, the World Series, and I want to say the division paper.
That's pretty cool.
All right there. It's pretty cool, actually.
It is pretty cool.
And it's the original one. It's not a reprint or anything.
Yeah,
Granny found it upstairs, and she asked me the other day. She was like, "If you don't want it, I'm gonna throw it away." And I was like, "No, you're not.
No,
the hell you aren't."
Oh, yeah.
But the only other one I'd put up there is, even though I hate the Cardinals, is the year David Freese.
Texas.
Yeah. The year I was rooting for Texas so hard that year. I loved that team with Nelson Cruz, and I want to say Yu Darvish wasn't there yet, but Lance Berkman was in St. Louis.
David Freese almost single-handedly won that World Series.
Yeah, he's the one that forced Game 7.
And then hit...
Because we will see you tomorrow night. Everybody knows that
hit
call.
one to tie it, and then hit one to walk it off.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, like, I want to say Alan Craig got a ring that year.
He did.
Yeah.
He had a big World Series that year, too.
That's what everybody thought. Like, oh, shit, Alan Craig's going to be good.
LOL.
When was the last time you saw Alan Craig on an MLB roster?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Yep. I want to say it was in Boston a couple years ago.
It was in Boston. I don't think it was... I think
it was like right before they traded Will Middlebrooks.
I think it was last year that he was in Boston.
Okay.
I saw him in Boston. But I don't remember
he's kind of disappeared since...
I don't remember seeing him this year, though.
Since that big World Series. But I would put that one in some of my favorite World Series. Also, the 0-1 World Series.
The Angels and the Giants?
No, Arizona and New York. When Luis Gonzalez walked it off with that little bloop.
Yeah.
Against Mariano.
I remember that one. Boston and when they... Was it the Cardinals they beat? I think it was the Cardinals.
In 2013?
No. Who they beat in 2004?
That is the Cardinals. Cause,
yeah. I think
Darren Erstad was on that team. On the Cardinals
that
team.
Was one of my favorite World Series. More so because of how the Red Sox got there, though.
Yeah.
Because it was just...
Yeah, the amazing. ALCS was wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. But, yeah, that's also up there. And, seeing those guys celebrate. So that was pretty cool. But... all in all, this was an amazing World Series that we just
honestly
watched.
The best World Series I've ever seen.
And the worst part about it was Game 7. And Game 7 in itself is a dramatic...
I'll be honest with you. Last year, as into the World Series as I was, I did not want more baseball after it. This year, I
understand that.
I want 2 more series. Like, I want 2 more 7-game series. Go at it.
I'm starting to write a letter to Rob Manfred and say, let's play best out of 9.
Yeah.
Because I get what you're saying.
You want more of that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like a Game 7 on its own. Game 7 of the World Series, there's pressure and the dramatic effect is already there. Mm-hmm. You don't have to build that up.
Nope.
You could say Team A, Team B, Game 7 of the World Series, and it's going to be like, man, that's going to be great.
Pick any 2.
So just that alone has everything you need for it to have. You add the other 6 games that went on in this. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Game 7 was the worst part about this series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to say. But it's absolutely...
And we talked about it right before we started recording. That's what got my blood boiling.
Right.
And ready to go. Was, Game 1, you got a great pitcher's duel where Clayton went out and dominated. Shut it down. showed you why his team won so many fucking games all year long.
Game 2, Justin Verlander comes and does the
exact same thing on the other side. And then Game 3, the bats start waking up.
Let's start hitting some homers here, guys.
And that's what they did.
And they did that. And it was, oh, man.
Then by the time we get to Game 5, they're setting up for the greatest baseball game I've ever watched in my life. It was either the greatest or the most poorly pitched game I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's more so the most poorly pitched game you've ever seen.
I like to over-exaggerate things, so I'm going to go with the greatest game I've ever seen.
That's fine. I understand.
As someone that's been to a couple playoff games, like, I can only imagine what it was like in Houston. You know, you don't want to go down 3-2 and go back to L.A.
No.
And they showed you that they did not want to go down 3-2 and have to go back to L.A. They fought.
Right.
That was one of the gutsy. It was just
never,
like
it was a never say die attitude throughout the entire game.
And it wasn't like they were manufacturing runs.
No.
It was like they just could hit home runs.
Get a couple guys on and we'll make it happen.
Don't worry.
But that's part of the reason why I told you I was done once the Astros went up 11-8. This game's over. You know, is what I thought.
LOL.
I was like, there's no way the Dodgers are going to come back after Houston kept battling and finally got to
funniest part about Game 5. Neither of the former Cy Young winners made it or got a decision that night. Dallas Keuchel and Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, they both got.
Neither one of them got a decision at all.
Also,
neither one of them made it out of the 5th inning.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it was a little lost. Dallas Keuchel pitched really well in Game 1. Also,
yes,
he
just got outpitched. Yeah,
I think,
and one of them was real early.
One of them was the first pitch of the game.
Chris Taylor jumps all over it and
the
smashes
other one was to Justin Turner, I believe.
I think they ended up losing, 3-1
or something like that.
But,
a pitcher's duel.
This series was, because
Dallas, full of everything.
Dallas came back after that first mistake and battled, kept hitting the strike zone.
He wasn't making mistakes.
One thing I didn't like about the series,
too, I believe.
The umpiring was really
poor.
Not good.
No. As far as behind the plate.
Yeah.
It was...
There were some really shitty strike zones.
Yeah,
the entire series.
It was really bad, honestly. And I think the best thing for baseball to do that they can do immediately, stop televising games with that strike zone.
Yeah. It ruins it for fans at home.
Because
we think we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
When we see that box.
Exactly. And when you give us that box, I feel like I'm correct to assume that's the strike zone.
That's the strike zone. It should be.
If the ball is not hitting that box, and I have a pretty, I think, pretty good knowledge of baseball.
Zone.
Yeah. If it touches the strike zone,
that's a strike. Yeah.
These balls were nowhere near.
No, there were balls like 6-7 inches outside the box.
They were being called strikes, or it was things that were the entire ball was inside that corner, and it's a ball.
Like, look at it. And I'm like, are you gonna? Is it just gonna be a late call here?
What are we doing here? Yeah. So I think the thing that baseball needs to do is get rid of those boxes. And,
if you want to
let
have
the umpire do what they do.
If you want to have it during the regular season, that's fine.
But don't have it in these high-intensity situations.
Because that's just going to get us on Twitter flaming.
When you do those kind of things, then that's when people start coming out, it's a conspiracy, the game is rigged. And, that's when things turn into, let's say a 1-2 count, a ball that should have been a strike is called a ball, 2-2. Now this guy hits a walk-off home run in the game. It's just stuff like that, and
you could see it in a lot of the hitters and pitchers' eyes.
They didn't understand it.
The
strike zone was all over the place.
There was times when normally like cool, calm, collected guys like Jose Altuve. I saw him. The fuck was that?
He said that in Game 1.
Yeah, like I saw guys like Justin Turner look back at the ump like,
What are you
talking about?
Yeah, it was.
Do you even know what baseball is?
It was ridiculous.
Like that was
calling in that game.
Probably my only complaint.
That's the only one, and it had nothing to do with the players.
Nope. That's just on the officiating crew.
Yeah. I said though on Twitter, I do believe Dave Roberts is not I think he's a subpar manager.
I don't disagree with you at all. Yeah. We both came to agreement when we titled that podcast Dave Roberts.
Oh, for sure.
And Dave Roberts,
you suck.
You suck, bro. Game 7 in the World Series. It's the last game you're gonna play that season.
That's it.
There is no tomorrow, but you go back to the guy that got rocked in an inning in the third.
I think
he
gave
3.
Up 5 in an inning in the third.
Hell,
in Game 3.
First batter of Game 7 rips a double down the line because you're hanging pitches up in the strike zone.
Before they got out the first inning, they were down 2-0. You were
already down 2-0.
Before they grabbed bats, they were down 2-0.
And that's not how you win games.
In my opinion, you got Clayton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best pitcher in the game right now. We can agree on that. When Clayton comes to me, if I'm the manager and Clayton comes to me, and he didn't pitch Game 6, it's short rest, I get it, but he had a relatively shorter outing.
I'll never understand that phrase again in the World Series because I saw Madison Bumgarner pitch like 7 days in a row.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If he comes to me,
the dude pitched 5 innings in Game 7,
and he says, "Hey, coach, I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Give me the ball.
Give me the ball.
Don't come get me. I'll let you know when I'm ready to come out."
You think I'm turning Clayton down in that situation?
Nope.
If anything, that's what I would want him to do. I'm sitting in my manager's office, and I'm like, man, I really wish Clayton would come in here and show me that he's a Bulldog.
What you do is you just go 1 through 5. You use your starters. Let the bullpen chill until the 9th inning. Bring Kinley out. That's it.
Kinley pitched in like the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Like, why?
And then he brought in Alex Wood.
Why? What were you doing, Dave Roberts?
I just didn't understand what he had going on. I think he should have let Clayton stay in the game. It didn't end up hurting him.
No.
But
Clayton pitched well when he did come in, so
and
not a bad idea.
I thought if anything, man, let Clayton start and let's see what happens. If you're gonna beat me, you're gonna beat me with the best I got.
You have to throw your best guys out there.
You're gonna beat me with the absolute best I got.
Hell,
I don't care.
You can't be mad at what the Astros did because, like we said, before the Dodgers even came to plate, they were already up 2-0. So. And Lance McCullers pitched great. Lance McCullers had a hell of an outing.
He went like 3 in the third.
Hey, he did what was asked of him. He gave when he left the game, his team was winning. He gave his team a chance to win that Game 7, and that's what you got to do.
Yep.
You know,
you're
when
right.
the manager comes and gets you, if your team is winning, you've done your job for the night.
You gotta get out of there too. Yep. But I just think, man.
Oh, Dave Roberts had a bunch of trips to the mound in Game 7 too. I noticed one.
I know Brian McCann had a lot of trips.
Yeah, I was like, Brian, come on,
that was starting
bro.
to get ridiculous.
But let's congratulate Brian McCann and Evan Gattis and Charlie Morton.
Yep.
Are there any other former Braves?
No idea. Well, I had totally forgotten. I remember seeing Charlie Morton though as a Brave, but I'm pretty sure there are more.
I'm gonna pull it up. If there are, we'll congratulate him.
It seems like Braves players just leave here and go win somewhere else. So, but I was happy to see. It was good to see B-Mac and
Cameron Maybin,
Evan Gattis,
former Brave.
Cameron Maybin, yep, he got him a ring.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ,
it's ridiculous. But I was happy to see B-Mac get a ring, and I was happy to see Evan Gattis get a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so than that, I was happy to see those guys contribute to that ring.
It wasn't like not knocking your guy, but last year in the World Series, Jason didn't do a whole lot. He's got the ring.
Hey man, he's the reason they won. Let them tell it. So that's all I need.
You say whatever you want to.
I said let them tell it.
Okay.
I didn't say it. That's what they said.
Hey,
that's what they said.
All right.
That's all I
get it.
That's all I can say.
Jason ain't contribute shit to the 2016 World Series champions, the Chicago Cubs, but Evan Gattis was big for that team all year.
Evan Gattis was big to that team all year.
Brian McCann was big in the postseason.
I was speaking more so on just strictly
Brian
the postseason.
Brian McCann had a home run in Game 5, I think.
Evan Gattis had a home run in Game 2, I want to say. No, because it was in Houston, so it had to be Game 3.
3 through 5, yeah.
It was Game 3, because it was,
Also, I love the 2-3-2 format. I know we talk about this seemingly every year. That's the way sports series should be.
I think so.
Play 2 in a row. Off night for travel, 3 in a row, off night for travel, finish the series.
Yep.
Not 2, take a night off, or 1, take a night off, another one, night off, then you travel.
Who does that?
The NBA. The NBA series, if it goes 7 games, could take like 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. There's no reason it should take you 14 days to play 7 games.
They do 2-2-1-1-1, don't they?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And that's another reason this shit takes forever and a day. Especially when you got, a West Coast team and an East Coast team.
Just that makes sense.
There's so much travel. The games don't start till almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Yeah. Like, we need to cut that shit all the way out. But no, this, like we talked about how great the pitching was, how great the offense was. Former Braves, stupid managerial decisions. Let's talk about the youth.
On both sides.
Yeah, but let's talk about the championship youth.
Okay.
That your dad hates. And it's so funny to me because his team's young.
Just real quick, because I brought up that exact same thing yesterday. Okay. He was like, man, I hate them young punks. I was like, really? But, I mean, this was before it was over. Okay. And I said, really? He was like, yeah, man. I was like, but Daddy, you realize that the Yankees are young. He was like, come on now, Ricky. You know, it's the Yankees, though. So, it's
okay.
just hate.
Yeah, it's just okay hate. When it's his team, but
it's
not
just
when it's
hate. Yeah.
That's just out now.
It's just hate. And, I mean, that's fine. That's just being a fan.
Yeah.
You know, that's just being a fan. So, it's whatever. That's all it is. And you got to also remember Houston put his guys out.
Yeah.
So
he has more reason to hate.
Yeah, he's got more of a reason
to hate. One more thing. I remember an argument I had on Twitter not too long ago that I talked to you about. Somehow it got onto, are the Cubs better or are the Astros better?
Right now?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. That one of our listeners, actually, that she tried to tell me that the Cubs were both younger and better. Well, the Cubs ain't make it to the World Series this year.
No. And they also lost to the people that lost to the Astros.
And the Astros are like a year and a half younger by average. I did the math. It's actually in that book bag. I can show you later. But yeah, the youth, the rebuild.
The Cubs are young, but they're not ridiculous.
No, they're like, I think their average age was like 28.9. The Astros were like 27.2.
They've got like Wilson, Javi, Addison, Chris,
and Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah,
everybody else is like 28 and up.
And Ian Happ.
Yeah,
but yeah, everybody else is
the pitchers old.
All of them
on the back ends of their careers.
All of them
to an extent. Yeah, I mean their catchers were Miguel Montero and David Ross when they won a World Series. They were like 57 apiece.
Oh, guys.
So, yeah, I mean, but the rebuild. We've seen these young rebuilt franchises win a lot lately.
Right. I'm just hoping.
The Giants.
I'm just hoping.
They were rebuilding to an extent, I want to say in 2012 when they won their second one. The Cubs, obviously. The Royals did it.
Right.
With homegrown talent. Mm-hmm. I mean, and now the Astros.
And hopefully in a couple years,
the
Braves.
In a couple years, I'm hoping that we can have this same discussion, but we are talking about the Atlanta Braves and how they've worked so hard to rebuild their organization. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty in the front office, but we're doing the same thing that the Astros were doing a couple years ago.
Right.
I still think that this is kind of akin to the Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr scenario in Golden State.
Yeah.
Where there was like his team actually went on to win.
Yeah.
I still think that Bo Porter deserves a ring, and I think that's a little bit of just Bo Porter love.
Yeah, I think that's just a little Bo Porter bias.
Porter was there when they were losing 100 games, but they had Carlos Correa in the minors.
Right.
And Jose Altuve was the one guy who was up and contributing. I found out the other day, Jose Altuve tried out for the Astros. They told him to go home.
And the last time they told him don't come back.
Yep. What idiots.
That guy's definitely fired.
Yeah, how bad would that have looked?
But
how bad could those tryouts have been?
What do you mean, how bad?
Yeah, like how bad did they have to be to tell him go home, don't come back?
I think it was more just his size.
Oh, okay.
Than anything.
All right, that's fair.
I think it was more. He probably didn't hit just off the when you're that small, you have to be unbelievably exceptional at everything. And I think, he probably, if he was 6'2", they probably would have told him come on. Mm-hmm. But being the way he was and having the tryout, however it went, they probably told him don't come back.
Yeah. Do you think that he's our American League MVP?
I do.
Okay.
I do believe he's
and
MVP.
And I'm actually glad that they didn't announce the awards before the World Series this year. I know that the postseason has no bearing on those awards because they are regular season accolades.
Right.
But I do think that you can't look at the American League side and be like, oh, well, this guy hit 320 with 20 home runs and led his team to the World Series. and not give him the trophy.
It's just not fair.
Yeah, I mean, he's been
simple as that.
I know last year we had our debates about it, whether it was Mookie or Jose, right. and neither one of them got it.
Neither one of them won it.
But personally, not Mookie, no disrespect to Mookie, but Jose.
Because Mookie had a heck of a year last year.
Jose has been this good for years.
Right.
He just, now he's getting the attention.
Well, I do know why it was on his radar, because they were losing.
They were losing 100 games a year.
But he was still doing. First player ever to have 6 straight seasons with 30-plus stolen bases also. So
I wonder how many hits he had in those seasons. We'll find out.
Charts,
because I know this is another guy, man. If he keeps it up and health doesn't become an issue for him,
I don't think he'll be the best to ever do it.
No. But I'm saying, without a doubt, lock for Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's gonna get to 3,000 hits, and I'm gonna be so excited because I will have watched the first 1,200 of them.
Yeah.
I can't say that about Derek Jeter. I didn't pay attention to his first 5-6 years in the league. I was a child. I was a baby.
Kid. I was watching them break our heart.
Oh, my bad. He hit 346 this year. Not 320. I take it back.
Yeah.
With 24 home runs and 80 RBI. He's damn good. He's definitely one of the best players in the game right now.
Oh, bar none.
And like I said, I just want to see how many. Okay, the last 4 seasons, over 200 hits. Led the league, all of them. So, and he wasn't too far behind in the 2 before that. Not to mention the guy's durable. I love everything about Jose Altuve. Without a doubt.
It's crazy, man.
5-time All-Star. Gold Glove winner. 3-time Silver Slugger. Probably going to get another one this year and an MVP. So, and his power's grown. 2 home runs, 7, 5, 7, 15, 24, 24. This guy he's an all-around player. He's got the speed. He's got the glove. You can't really judge his arm because he plays second.
And I think that's why.
Yeah.
Because of his stature.
Yeah.
I think he's probably got a good arm for a second baseman, but
they never gave him a shot anywhere else because he's 5 foot nothing.
Yeah. 100
in cleats.
Barely any speck of athletic ability.
He's damn good though. But
that movie reference?
No, I didn't actually.
Rudy.
I've only seen Rudy one time.
That's upsetting. This friendship's done.
Okay. All right. So that was the last episode of The Battery. Hope you enjoyed it. Ricky's selfish.
I can't believe you only seen Rudy.
Why would I watch that movie a bunch of times? They beat Georgia Tech at the end of it.
That movie is awesome, man.
It ain't better than Remember the Titans.
Okay. You're right. But
Friendship Back On?
No.
Oh, well, you suck, man.
But Rudy is a top 5 sports movie. Name 5 better.
Glory Road, Sandlot, Remember the Titans, Like Mike.
See, you say stuff like that.
And The Legend of Bagger Vance.
I don't know that one.
Will Smith, Matt Damon, golf movie. Or The Greatest Game Ever Played with Shia LaBeouf, also a golf movie.
I do know.
Fantastic movie.
But the fact that you said Like Mike, that you lost all credibility there. It's not a sports movie, man.
What is it?
It's a comedy. It's a kids movie. That's what it is.
Shut up. It is a sports movie.
No, it's not.
It is. It absolutely is.
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
But you consider The Sandlot a sports movie?
Barely. I started to think about that. I lied. Not barely. It's definitely a sports movie.
Okay.
But that centers around a baseball team. These kids that are friends on a baseball team. Like Mike centers around Bow Wow as an orphan.
Who becomes a star basketball player in the NBA.
It's not centered around his basketball talent. It is centered around the fact that he wants a family. And it's centered
around these shoes that give him basketball talent.
That's not a sports movie, man. I'm really disappointed that would be in your top 5.
Absolutely. No. It's got Morris Chestnut in it, Brenda Song, the big-ass head kid from Jerry Maguire.
That's upsetting.
And a cameo from, half of the NBA stars at that time.
Which is cool. But
AI, Vince Carter, Dirk, Jason Kidd.
Can you sign an autograph for my niece? Sure. What's her name?
Dirk.
I didn't get that until I was older. I was like, do they name everybody Dirk in Germany or something? But, like, as I got older, I was like, dude, that is hilarious.
That is really funny.
My top 5. Remember the Titans, Glory Road.
You like how I threw that one in there?
Yeah.
That one's great.
I can appreciate that. What's the movie that I just said was top 5 that I tried to tell you? I forgot. We went off on the tangent about
it was Rudy.
Oh, Rudy. Yeah, Rudy's up there. No particular order, also. But what do I have? Remember Titans, Glory Road, Rudy. Let me think.
This mother effer is gonna throw like Mike in there because he can't think of.
No, I'm not. One. I can think of some. I was thinking about whether or not to throw Coach Carter in there.
Oh, Coach fudge! Yeah. Can I take like Mike out?
No,
and put
that's
Coach
the
Carter
one that's staying. It's like, hey, you make that mistake, you're gonna deal with it.
All right, that's fine.
Coach Carter's a good one. I would throw Sandlot in there, but maybe Sandlot.
You're just willing to do anything to keep Rudy in there. I know you are. Rudy's not that good.
Rudy is that good.
Rudy's not that good.
Rudy's definitely that
That's
good.
not. Like I said, they beat Tech at the end of it, so personal vendetta.
That's all it is for you. Rudy is
and it's
that
not
great.
that good.
I
don't like Sean Astin that much. Other than his character from 50 First Dates, he's not that good of an actor.
The fact that you're naming actors. I know one actor in that movie is Vince Vaughn.
I'm really into movies.
Obviously not if you think Rudy's not good.
It's not that good.
He's the only person that calls themselves a sports fan that says that.
I mean, they're just better sports movies, Ricky. I'm sorry.
Like Mike is not one of them.
It absolutely
No,
is.
It's not.
It absolutely is.
That's upsetting.
And I may go back and redo the intro and just play the Like Mike basketball song.
No.
I'm absolutely going to. No. 3 minutes and 50 seconds of Like Mike, the basketball song. Or basketball. I don't know why I'm calling it the basketball song. It was just basketball by Lil Bow Wow with Jermaine Dupri in there.
Back when Lil Bow Wow was hot out in these streets.
That's why I don't get how you don't love it as much.
I like the movie, but am I calling it a sports movie? No.
We should just not call Bow Wow's albums rap albums.
Tripping. You tripping. Bow Wow was
Fresh as I'm is deleted.
Bow Wow was okay. You can delete that.
No, actually no.
Lil Bow Wow is the one that we have to protect. Lil Bow Wow was out here killing the game.
Man, F that, because Fresh as I'm is my favorite Bow Wow song.
I understand, but Lil
Next
Bow
to
Wow
Pole
was
in
out
the
here.
Basement, which you hate for some reason.
It's a stupid song.
How?
It sounds stupid. It sounds stupid.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Like his voice, the way he's trying to. Come on, man.
He's singing about having a stripper pole in his
He
basement.
can't sing. That's the problem.
He can't do nothing. He looks like a child.
He used to be able to rap. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You're right, because you played that one song one night and I about lost it.
Exactly. I'm telling you, man. Like, Lil Bow Wow had hits. He put together full, complete projects instead of just throwing in a Fresh as I'm is. Or
bro, that song still rides, though.
It does. Or just throwing in a Let Me Hold You. Or he threw in, it was like 3 songs on the album that were like pretty
Shorty
dope.
Like Mine was one.
I wasn't rocking. That wasn't on that same album.
It wasn't, you're right. It was on a later one.
Trust me, man. I know my Bow Wow facts.
Whatever.
I don't know how I should feel.
All right,
that.
well.
Oh, Big Dreams. That was another one. I really rock with Big Dreams.
I don't know that one.
It was on the album. If you had the album.
Yeah. But, all right, so that was a hell of a show. Super proud of that one.
Yep. Glad we knocked everything out.
Yeah, and I didn't even have to write it down this time.
Nah, man.
Straight off the dome.
Straight off the top.
Yeah.
Dumbest boy in school.
Yes, that's what I was about to get to. Dumbest boy in school. This is so much harder when you have to narrow it down to like sports figures.
Mm-hmm. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Dave Roberts, because you robbed LA of their first championship in 22 years. I'm standing
29.
behind that. I thought it was 86.
88.
My math. What?
Yeah.
I'm still living in like before 2010. God, it is 2017. Man.
I know. I'm 25. You'll be 25 in a couple weeks. Yeah, so 29 years. My dumbest boy in school is Ricky. He doesn't know how to do math, which is usually the other way around.
Yeah.
So
he's literally just saying
I'm going to capitalize on it. I'm going to capitalize on it this week.
Okay.
Your co-host of The Battery, Ricky Richardson. Dumbest boy in school.
I'll wear that gladly.
I think it's an honorable title. It's not like a dunce cap. It's something cool. Actually, somebody told me I sounded like Schmidt when I said something the other day, and I was just like, all right, cool.
I'll take it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So
sounds good to me.
Yep. So thank you guys for listening. Once again, you can follow me on Twitter at lame_Gretzky. I changed it because I got tired of looking at the 76. It just wasn't as cool to me. Also, I've decided if I ever start rapping, that's my rap name.
Lame Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it.
So, look out for the mixtape coming your way Christmas Day. Bars.
Anyway, looking out.
See? He's already ready for the mixtape.
You can follow me on Twitter at Not Even Rich. You can follow me on Instagram at the same thing. You can follow The Battery's Instagram at The Battery Podcast.
And on Twitter, it's Battery_podcast.
So, in case you guys got anything you want to say there.
Yeah. I'm going to stop. I'm just not going to ask for feedback or anything anymore.
Yeah, because nobody does it, right?
Yeah, it'll just come when it comes.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for this week.
Yep. Thanks.